Say, before we make this jump, anybody want to say a few words?
I figure if God can hear how scared I am, so can everyone else.
We're gonna make this list real quick so we can go back into the Commonwealth, Planet Mira, and the Northern Kingdoms.
Shh. It's okay to be afraid.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 best video games of 2015.
We gotta get the hell out of here!
For this list, we'll be looking at all of those games that made us use all of our PTO so we could spend more time with our consoles and PCs. This list won't include any remasters, ports, DLCs, or expansions, so apologies to StarCraft fans, but that does include Legacy of the Void.
Today, we retake our homeworld.
There were a lot of great titles that made us use a lot of sick days here at WatchMojo. In fact, it was such a big year that we couldn't include a lot of our personal favorites on this list. It was that big. Number 10, Rise of the Tomb Raider.
It's me, Hannah. Oh God, I'm so sorry.
So what happens after the credits roll and you've just had a monumentally huge adventure? Well, if you're Lara Croft, that experience gets covered up and you have to try and prove that you're not insane.
I saw something. Something I can't explain.
Before, we got to see her go from being unsure of herself to taking out enemies like the badass she's meant to be. That badassness is more present in this game. But there's also a realistic weariness considering what she's been through before, creating a well-rounded character partaking in another groundbreaking adventure, complete with stunning visuals and addictive gameplay. Number 9, Splatoon. Who would have thought that the best way to reinvent the competitive online shooter wasn't with more gritty soldiers and space marines, but with Kid Squid mutants shooting ink at each other in 90s attire? Well, that's what we got with Nintendo's incredible newest IP in more than a decade, and boy was it a breath of fresh ink to the lungs. The ink-based weapons and squid transformations allow for intense game modes you wouldn't get in any other shooter, and its creative gameplay allowed for both casual and hardcore fans to find their perfect style of play. Number 8, Super Mario Maker. In 1985, the world was introduced to the Super Mario Bros., a platforming adventure that has become one of the most iconic video games in history. To celebrate the 30th anniversary, Nintendo gave their fans complete control. You can create stages in the visual styles of the original Super Mario Bros., Mario 3, World, and New Super Mario Bros. U. If creation isn't really your thing, you can try out millions of fan-created levels, ranging from simple to controller-smashingly difficult. Quite honestly, this is a game with the potential to offer content and ruin friendships for years to come. Number 7, Batman Arkham Knight, console version.
Talk, or I'll crush every bone in your body.
While the Batmobile does overstay its welcome, and the PC version was a disaster, if you're gonna play on console, then Gotham has never looked so crisp and been so huge. The same gameplay you know and love is back and looks better than ever, so unless you tried to play on PC, there wasn't a whole lot to gripe about. On top of that, there's an interesting dynamic of having to deal with a series of hallucinations when Batman is hit with the Scarecrow's fear toxin.
I'll be fine.
You're not looking too good, old boy.
This is still a great Batman adventure for gamers and other fans of the Caped Crusader.
We're all counting on you, Batman. We'll get through this, I know we will.
Number 6, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. That Ultimate in the title isn't just for show. This really is the best game in the series to date, and easily the best 3DS game to come out this year. All of the elements we've come to know and love are there as you set off into a huge world and hunt a wide variety of dangerous creatures. But the biggest selling point, beyond the graphics and gameplay of course, is the fully integrated online multiplayer. Surprisingly, 4 Ultimate was one of the only top quality games this year to have equal parts amazing single and multiplayer content, allowing for one of the most expansive gameplay experiences that a portable game has ever had. Number 5. Undertale. Aw, what an adorable flower. It would be a shame if it tried to kill us. And thus begins the most creative RPG we've played all year. What really makes this game stand out is its decision-based gameplay. We know there are a lot of games that rely heavily on that, but none do it quite as amazingly as Undertale. It's not just the fact that there are some characters you really don't want to kill, but your actions are remembered, even after you beat the game and start over, creating a unique experience every time you move through the underground. Number 4. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain.
Be careful down there, boss.
Snake? Snake? Snake! Oh yeah, we made this joke when we talked about Ground Zeroes. But it needs to be said since Snake finally gave us the game we wanted.
You're a legend in the eyes of those who live on the battlefield.
This feels like the Metal Gear Solid that we've been dreaming of, with its huge open world, open-ended missions that give us the ability to explore at our own pace, and new, creative ways to be stealthy. The only real downside is that everything that happened between series creator Hideo Kojima and Konami definitely had an impact on the late game missions.
We're ready to strike back. Say the word.
Number 3. Fallout 4. We knew this game had to be coming, but we didn't think it would be so soon.
Wow. You really aren't from around here, are you?
Granted, Fallout 4 arrived with all the quirks and shortcomings that Bethesda's games are known for, but there's a certain itch that Fallout scratches, and it scratches it hard.
I think we can safely say that you're out of critical condition.
We'd get online and complain about how the conversation system was nerfed, but we're just too busy. I mean, we have so many quests, and we're just 2 or 3 pieces of junk away from building that sweet new mod for our laser rifle. It might not be the most polished game of the year, but it might darn well be the most addictive.
Don't want there to be any holdups in the unforeseen event of total atomic annihilation.
Number 2. Bloodborne.
Welcome to the hunter's dream. This will be your home for now.
What is it about From Software games that keep luring us back? Is it the environment? The gameplay? The challenge? Probably all of those things combined. Bloodborne is the perfect marriage of that challenge, with an interesting setting and enough story elements to keep us going forward.
What a mess you've been caught up in.
It's hard as hell, but not so hard that we want to completely give up on it. It's not the most complicated story out there, but it's interesting enough, and the city of Yharnam is dark and well crafted, encouraging us to keep going and to deal with that bloodborne disease. It's really everything a video game should be.
Beasts all over the shop. You'll be one of them, sooner or later.
Before we sing the praises of the best video game of 2015, let's check out these honorable mentions.
It'll hurt about as much as getting your picture taken.
Indians thought cameras would steal their souls.
Is that so? Well, let's hope they're wrong.
I should warn you, stranger. Here in Gilded Vale, we have a special place for dissidents, charlatans, and those who would hide a curse in our midst.
Number 1, The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt. We almost called this one our most anticipated game of 2015 when we put it at number 2, but Geralt of Rivia gave us an adventure that screamed number 1 ever since its release in May.
I'd walk the battlefield if I were you.
The world of The Witcher has never looked so grand and felt so huge, complete with an improved combat system, unique weapon customization, an insane amount of replayability, and an engaging story that will have you ripping your hair out with anxiety over your choices. Oh, and the Hearts of Stone expansion is pretty perfect if you need more Geralt in your life.
Are you always like this? I'm beginning to feel sorry for Triss and Yen.
This is how you introduce an award-winning franchise into the next generation of gaming.
Glad you know who I am. Haven't introduced yourself, though.
Do you by any chance agree with our list? Which games are you glad you saved up for this year? For more top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.